Two.
Yes, once again, I'd like to welcome to the studio Mr. Jonathan Tucker. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm well. I'm well. Blessings to you and your audience.
Yes, without a doubt. Of course, you're vying for a seat in the 34th place, correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So what I'm going to do, to go ahead and just introduce yourself, those who might not be familiar with you, go right ahead.
Good morning. Good morning, George. Good morning to your listening audience, people of the Virgin Islands. My name is Jonathan P. Tucker Jr. I am a Democratic candidate for the 34th legislature, and I am number 12 on the ballot. It is closing argument time, and I'm here coming before you once again to tell you a little bit about myself, tell you about my campaign. And I want to say, first of all, I want to say thank you to the people of the Virgin Islands for your energy, your encouragement. I am very gratified to see people expressing themselves and indicating their desire to come out and vote on November 3rd. Your vote is your voice, and we are all allowing our voices to be heard. So I'm very pleased that early voting numbers are off the charts in regards to counts. I think the message is out there that the only way Virgin Islands people can hold leaders accountable is through their vote. So I am honored to be before you today. I am grateful for your support, and I'm looking forward to November 3rd, and I'm even looking forward to finally getting some rest. Maybe on November 4th, but it depends on how long the party goes after. So, yes. Win, lose, or draw, it is going to be a celebration for the Virgin Islands people because, we are coming out and making our voices heard. So, I don't think anyone can lose in that scenario. Frustration, to be blunt. Yeah. Right. Basically, I am on leave right now as the Deputy Director for Technology and Processing for the Bureau of Internal Revenue. And in that capacity, as you know, because I know you work for a government agency yourself, after Irma and Maria, it was all hands on deck, and everyone needed to be engaged and bring their best effort and energy forward to help us get out of that situation that we found ourselves in. So my assignment was to be the representative for the Bureau of Internal Revenue at the Emergency Operating Center, the EOC for Vitima. And being there, looking at all the traumatic things that this territory had to deal with, I was very concerned as a citizen. What I saw, things that I thought should be in place were not in place. And for example, I'll give you an example. I went to one of the distribution centers right after Irma and Maria, Corwin Terrace. And I just want to say big up to the Corwin Terrace community, the mayor of Corwin Terrace, Sister Daly, and Kwamika Brown, and all the brothers and sisters in that community. Big up to you this morning. God bless you for your work. I went to that community right after the storm, and I went to the community center there where Miss Daly and her daughter were giving out the supplies. And I got there and I approached, I think it was Kwamika, and she was almost in tears. She looked at me and she says, this was right after the administration had given that order that people were supposed to get a case of supplies. And she looked at me and she said, Mr. Tucker, we didn't know each other before that. She said, Mr. Tucker, an old lady just came here, and we heard the notice from the governor that we were supposed to give them a box or a case. Mr. Tucker, what's going to happen when this older lady gets home and she opens this case and she sees what's in this case? And I said, well, what do you mean? She opened the case and she gave me one of the bags. And guess what was in the bag? Skittles and the Vienna sausage. This was an older lady for that community, and that's right. That was going to be her meal for the week, and it was very frustrating. So I took that bag that Kwamika gave me, and I went And I made a beeline. Since I was stationed at the EOC, I made a beeline. I knew that the governor had his communications director at the time, Mr. Sam Top, stationed at the EOC. And I jumped in my car and I made a beeline straight to Mr. Top. And I approached Mr. Top. He didn't know me, but I approached him and I said, Mr. Top, you know, I need to speak to someone in the administration and let them know what's happening. And I told them about, you know, the directive from the governor that, you know, they needed to be given a case. But I said, Mr. Top, they're handing out cases of this. And I handed him the bag of the Skittles and the Vienna sausage. He said, well, what is this? I said, well, that's what they're handing out to people. Mr. Top turned to me and he said, if I got this, I'd be offended. I said, thank you. You understand. He said, don't worry, I'm going to take care of it. Long story short, about 2 or 3 months after that, I never spoke to him again. But 2 or 3 months after that, I was told that Mr. Top was no longer working for the administration. So I don't know what happened with that dynamic, but I don't know if that was the root cause of anything. I have no idea. But I say all of that to say that, you know, it is obvious when government is stretched beyond its limit, and it is obvious to all that, you know, there are things that we can be doing in government better. We can communicate better. We can better use our resources. For example, going back to the current terrorist community, one of the things that I appreciate and admire about that community, they don't wait for government. When they need something done, they in that community get together and they do it. And I see that repeating all over this island. And I'm saying to myself, man, why is it that the government can't follow that pattern? Why can't we, the resources that we're giving to all these entities like Public Works, and I'm not saying that these entities aren't doing their job, but these entities are stretched to their limit in terms of personnel, resources, etc. So why are we ignoring this resource that we have? And that resource, you know what it is? Our people. Our people are talented. Our people have the energy and they have the strength and the will to do the job. All they need is the resources. One of the things that I would like to do, if I'm blessed to be a part of the 34th legislature, is to work on legislation to put resources in the hands of these organizations within these communities so that they can take care of their own neighborhoods. I would like to see community, what I would call them would be community brigades formed in all of our communities, where we give them the resources. We say, here is X amount of dollars. You can take care of the upkeep of the neighborhood. You can take care of your community centers. You can take care of your training programs. You could do all of these things. Here are the resources. And on top of giving them the resources, also give them the support in terms of making sure that we are fully accountable with the dollars that are being spent, that reports are being generated, and that we can have a check and balance to make sure that we are being proper stewards of the government monies, right? And that's what I heard from the community when I was there. They did a cleanup the other day, and I was there and I had an opportunity to talk to them, the men in the neighborhood, and they said, listen, Jonathan, if we only had the monies, we could do all of this ourselves. I say, okay, I got you. So here I am now on the campaign trail, and that's one of the things that I'll be pushing. The senator's role, it's very specific in terms of what the senator is supposed to do. Senators are not super commissioners. That's number one. So we need to dispel that myth right now, right? A senator's role basically is to exercise oversight over the government entities, specifically deal with the budget and make laws. That's it. That's the senator's role. Those three things: oversight, budget, and make laws. That's it. Right. Now, in that portfolio, let's say, you can, there are committees that are formed, right? And each committee has jurisdiction over a certain aspect of the function of government and delivering goods and services to the people of this territory, right? Now, in the budget part of it, what I described earlier in regards to, putting resources in the hands of community organizations, that would fall under the government, that would fall under the legislature's role in terms of controlling the purse strings. The legislature has a role to play in terms of allocating funding. They make decisions and can make decisions as to what are the financial priorities for this government, right? And in that decision-making process, I think there needs to be a voice in the room that says, listen, if we invest in the communities on the front end, it pays dividends later on. For example, if you recall, right after Irma and Maria, and everyone is talking about the recent crime situations that we're having in our territory, but when you talk to anyone right after Irma and Maria, when everyone was working, nobody had any time to do any crime. Why? Because they're working. You see what I'm saying? So we need to learn from that. Put people to work. And the way you do that is by properly allocating resources. And, you have to have that in your mind-eye all the time. And, when you go into the legislature, you're not going in to serve yourself. You're going in to serve the people. You actually work. This whole process, this election cycle, is an 8-month job interview. That's how I see it. And the people are the ones who are sitting on the other side of the table, reviewing your credentials and asking you the questions to determine whether you are worthy of their vote. And that's how it should be. We all, as candidates and aspirants, have a responsibility to be honest in that dialogue with the people so that we present to them real versus imaginary. I would be on the oversight, government operations and oversight. I see that I can play a role there. My background is computer science, and I have a bachelor's degree in computer science, and it's a process analysis technical degree. So in assessing the agencies and seeing where they're doing well, seeing where they can make improvements, etc., and getting involved in the oversight outside of what you see happening on the Senate floor, I think I would bring a lot to that experience. And I think it would improve what we've been seeing when we look at the legislature. My skills are technical. I'm an IT person. And so one of the things that I would be focusing on in the 34th legislature is I would be focusing on the expansion or diversification of the VI economy. And one of the things that I think we should be focused on is the expansion of the tech sector. Why tech? Because tech sector jobs and tech sector opportunities give Virgin Islanders financial opportunities that other sectors cannot. Tech sector jobs pay well. They pay better. Right? The entrepreneurship opportunities are expanded because you have technology feeding into other sectors. Right now, all of our students are at home doing distance learning, right? And they're using the platforms and they're using the internet, they're using the computers, etc. One of the things that I'd like to focus on is the same energy and effort that the government paid or put into bringing the rum companies to our shores, I'd like the government to put in that same level of energy into bringing technology companies to our shores. So that's what I think, that mindset, that understanding of technology is what I would be bringing to the table. And I think I could apply that well in operation or oversight, in the oversight, government operations and oversight committees. Sure. That's correct. I think, the laws of men do not exceed the laws of God, right? And I believe that as citizens in this territory, we fundamentally all want the same thing. We want to live in an environment that's safe. We want our children to be healthy. We want our community to be healthy. And I'm a Christian, but I have the same desires and for our community as a non-Christian would have. Where we kind of part ways is, I believe that there's a standard that I apply to my life, right? You walk a certain way, you talk a certain way, and you engage in certain things. And there's certain things that you don't engage in, right? That standard exists whether I'm a Christian or not. So what I'm saying to the public is, you will know what my standard is. And to answer your question shortly, is, I am not going to impose my religious beliefs on people who don't agree with my religious beliefs, but I will maintain a standard. I hope that answers your question.
Once again, yours truly, Georgia G. Jackson, right here at WSTA. It's hot, hot, hot. Also talking about Dr. Ed Down the show. In studio guest today is Mr. Jonathan Tucker. He's actually a part of the 34th legislature. Number what?
I am number 12 on the ballot.
Take a small little pause because right here, keep locked on it right here. I've known a lot of shirts in my life, but I've never been a shirt that can keep you from feeling hungry. If you're hungry, make sure you get some food. But let me tell you something, this shirt, if you wear it, it can keep you from looking hungry. Get it right now. Get it lunchtime. Coach Red t-shirt. Get it for 23 to 1 on Hong. 3 points give you 2 to 1. 42, 32. Ladies and gentlemen, without interrupting, live from the Trust We Say from Say, are you watching the furniture? A blanket selection. Ladies and gentlemen, let's do more. Furniture Plus, a sponsor of Charlotte by Jesus. Instant color. The high velocity and the people of Madonna. Just can't count today, so listen to this. See, everybody want to hear you sing. We're right with you. Leave us sing with your savings and the cash register.
Mm-hmm. I am asked this question frequently, and I say this. I would give the government's response a A minus, and the reason why I say A minus is because you always leave room for improvement. I'm very encouraged by what the Department of Health and the Commissioner has been doing with her team. I think she's outstanding in terms of communication. The administration overall also is doing a good job in terms of communicating facts to the people of the territory. The one thing about the COVID response that I think the people of the Virgin Islands can appreciate is honesty. We as citizens want our leaders to tell us the truth. We don't need to be we don't need to be pampered, or don't sugarcoat anything. Tell us the truth. And because as a leader in the community, trust is the only currency that we really have. If you do something to erode that trust, you will spend a lot of time and energy trying to get that trust back. And I think in regards to the COVID response, the administration has been honest and upfront with the people of the territory, and I believe that the people of the territory appreciate that and they respect that. So I'm praying that they maintain that position and maintain that level of honesty in their discourse and telling us what's happening with the COVID situation in the territory. Mm-hmm. Sure. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I am so glad you asked me that question. Absolutely. Now, I have been saying from the very beginning, from before the primary, I've been focusing on Act 6905 and the repealing of Section 6 and Section 8. I am one of the only candidates in this race now who's saying that and has said that publicly. I believe that the action that the legislature just pushed in regards to amending Act 7878 to tie the commission, the salary of the legislature, of the senators, to the whatever comes out of this commission that's being formed. I think, okay, fine, we're kind of doing the 6 for the 9. The people were specific and said, we want you to repeal these 2 sections of this law, and they came up with some alternative. Okay, fine. The problem that I have with the bill that the senators did was this. In that bill, there's a line in the bill that says that the commission cannot reduce the salaries below $85,000 a year. Here's the problem. If you recall, George, there was a senator by the name of Gene Ford who is no longer in the legislature, and he's no longer in the legislature because he publicly said that, and I'm paraphrasing, he couldn't work for a salary less than $85,000 a year. And what I'm saying to my colleagues or future colleagues is this. Why would you put in the bill something that Gene Ford said on a microphone? You're putting in ink what Gene Ford basically said on a microphone. And the thing that I find so ironic is some of the individuals who are up in arms about what Gene Ford said are the same individuals now who are defending putting this in their bill. That's hypocritical to the highest degree. And remember what I was talking about in terms of trust? These are the types of things that leaders do that erode the public trust. And there have been many, many, many individuals who said to me, look, you shouldn't talk on this because, and I'm like, no. Trust is the only thing that you have, and the way you maintain that trust is by being consistent. I was against what Gene Ford said way back when, and I'm against the action that's being taken now. I think it should be up to the people. I would promote this. I think compensation is something that should be merit-based. I believe that there should be some milestones or benchmarks that the Senate salary should be tied to. For example, do an assessment and figure out how many people are in poverty in the Virgin Islands, and we get a number. And based on actions that the legislature does, let's look and see, once we decide what that number is, let's look and see how many Virgin Islanders can we move up out of poverty and use that as a milestone. Those types of things is what we should do. Yeah. No, I don't think that makes sense. I think, but the senators should step forward and, have an input, but make their case. If they're saying that they deserve X amount of dollars, then you need to come and man up or woman up and step before the people and explain yourself to the people and let the people decide. I don't think it would make sense today, because again of the erosion of trust. I think the commission idea I think works. However, they need to remove that line that says the commission has to set a floor. They can't go below 85. If you're asking the people to trust the commission, then you yourself need to demonstrate that you could trust the commission. Thank you. Thank you so much. People of the Virgin Islands, my name is Jonathan P. Tucker Jr. I am number 12 on your ballot. You have been asking for quite some time for leaders to be honest, show courage, and be able to work together as a team to solve problems. I believe that I'm such a leader. I am asking you humbly for your vote on November 3rd. On November 3rd, I'm asking you to select number 12, Jonathan P. Tucker Jr. I thank you. God bless you, and stay safe. Blessings to you, my brother. All right.